Hello, and welcome to Improbable Things. I'm J. Grace Pennington, and this is my podcast where I share 6 improbable thoughts before breakfast, which, for the purposes of this podcast, consists of 6 thoughts about reading, writing, or just storytelling in general. So it is about 5:30 on a Thursday morning. I've got my 6 things all ready to go, so let's get started. So before I begin, first I want to say I feel like I need to find something better to say than, I've got my 6 things and let's get started, because that just, I don't know, that sounds kind of silly to me, but I haven't been able to think of a different way to open this up, but I'm going to try to, because I don't know, I'm kind of tired of saying that. And then also I wanted to go ahead and just say that I'm trying something different for recording this week. What I did last week, although it sounded a little better, still wasn't great, and it really hurt my neck, so I'm not doing that again. So trying something new. Again, I really appreciate all of you bearing with me as I try to navigate all this technological stuff. It's not exactly my forte, but it's worth figuring it out to get to sit down and talk with you all. So now I will get into those 6 things. So number 1, the really big news is that Firmament Progenitor, my latest book, is officially released. It is out now on Kindle ebook and on paperback, and I've had a few people already purchase some of each, and I'm really excited to start hearing what people think, because I know I've said this before, but I really do feel like it's one of the stronger installments in the series so far. Only took me 10 books, but no, I love all the books, but this one, it just came out easier, and my readers have agreed that it was especially strong, and I'm just really excited about some of the things that take place, some of the places the series is going, and so yeah, I'm really looking forward to hearing thoughts. So if you read it, please let me know what your thoughts are, and best of all, please leave me a review on Amazon, because I really need those. And if you've read any of my books, I would really love a review, speaking of, because those are difficult to get and they're really important. So even if it's just a couple lines like, oh, I liked it, or it was such and so, whatever it is, getting reviews helps a lot with visibility. It helps a lot with new readers and things like that. So thank you in advance if you do that. But regardless, I hope that you read it, enjoy it, and please let me know. Number 2, I wanted to share with y'all the synopsis for my book that I'm writing right now, which is called Time Stream. I've been working on it every day, and then later I'm going to talk a little bit about exactly what that looks like and what my schedule has been like. But I did want to go ahead and share with you all the synopsis on that, which I have not shared so far. So I wasn't very organized and I didn't have it pulled up yet. So hold on for a second while I get that pulled up so I can share it with y'all. But yes, the book is called Time Stream. So this is book 11 in the series. And I'm going to share with you right now the synopsis for that one. So here we go. So the book is called Time Stream, Firmament Book 11. Is it possible to change the past? With their most powerful enemy's identity revealed, the crew of the Surveyor embarks on a quest to end the dangerous operation they've discovered. Their mission, however, takes a sharp and unexpected turn when Andy experiences jarring displacements in space and, it seems, in time. An enigmatic clue to the cause of these interdimensional travels sends them racing to a distant planet where they hope to find the source of the trouble and possibly an old friend who can stop the phenomenon. As always, however, new technology forces them to confront new and excruciating dilemmas. Can present actions alter past events? Is this a chance to right old wrongs, save lost friends, and revisit possibilities thought lost forever? Caught at the center of it all, will Andy have the strength to destroy the approaching threat, and with it all hope of her own survival? So that's the synopsis for the next one. Hopefully it is intriguing. That's the goal, at least. And the writing on this one is going really well so far. I've passed the 10,000 word mark, and while first drafts are always difficult, I feel like it's going relatively smoothly. A lot of exciting things happening that, again, I'm really excited for readers to get to experience. I think that there's some specific elements of this one that will really appeal to longtime fans of the Firmament series, some nostalgic elements and things like that. So working on that one. I'll share a little bit more later how it's going, but yeah, there's the synopsis for you. And number 3, this is where I'm going to talk about how it's going, basically. So I know I've talked before about how things change with my writing and how I do it and how much I do it and when and where and things like that. I'll find, for a while I really want to work at my desk, like in my designated work area. And then there's times where I'm just not getting to my desk and I just want to bring my computer to wherever I'm already sitting and reading or whatever so that I can work there. And then, at some point, maybe a month later, I'll migrate back to my desk. And that also happens with time. Like for a long time, my writing, time was in the middle of the afternoon. And I would take like an hour out of nap time to kind of get the work done. But then that was just getting to the point where it was very difficult for me to get to. I was very tired in the afternoons. I was dragging my feet getting to that work time. It just was not really happening as well. And so I switched to getting up at 5 a.m. to do my work in the mornings. And that's been good. It's been really nice to just get those things out of the way kind of first thing. I get up, do my writing for about an hour, and then move into my devotional time and exercise, working out, whatever else I need to do. But that was starting to get where there was a little bit too much work to fit into that amount of time. And for me, 5 is the cutoff. If you're getting up earlier than 5, it's not even morning. So I didn't want to do that. So what I started doing is I'll kind of get as much work as I can done during that hour or so early in the morning. And then I make myself a little checklist on my phone of the things that still need to be done. And I'll do those at some point during the rest of the day. And because it's not generally that much, like it's not an hour's worth of work. It's just, I need to write another couple hundred words and I need to finish getting this ad set up, and maybe edit the last couple minutes of an audiobook chapter or something like that. It's maybe like half an hour's worth of work. Then it doesn't feel, overwhelming for me to get to. Plus, I know exactly what I need to do. And it's normally a continuation of things I've already been working on that day. So I'm not sort of going in fresh or whatever. And so that's actually been working really well, just to kind of split it into a couple writing sessions. And even though my general rule has been not to do work while my kids are sort of up and about, so otherwise, in other words, if it's not, bedtime or nap time, some days I have actually been doing that sort of extra half hour of work in the afternoons, if they're occupied with something. They're really into playing games lately. So the last couple afternoons, actually the older 3 have grabbed like Candyland or something and just played a game at the table. And then the baby just walks around and entertains herself and reads books and plays with toys. And so that's been an opportunity for me to just sit and just do a little tiny bit of the last bit of work, as long as I'm sitting with them so I can still, help out, take care of them if they need something. So, and I'm sharing all this because I feel like that is one of the main things that I have to say. That's one of my main messages, and especially with this podcast. And that's why I do share a lot about how writing fits into my life, because I feel like my life right now, if you look at my life from the outside, you would say, I don't have time to write. I don't have time to publish. And it's true that I'm busy and I'm tired and I have these 4 little kids and there's so much going on with them and we're homeschooling, and I'm keeping home and there's all these things going on. But for me, writing as a job into my life is very important. And I do believe that it's possible, even if the way it looks changes in different seasons. And so I want to encourage others that feel like their creative pursuits and their things that are really valuable and important and vital to them. I want to encourage those people that feel that they can't do it where they're at in life with the job they have or their kids or whatever it is. I want to encourage anyone else that feels that way, because that's how I felt for so long. And it's been so rewarding to find those ways to fit it into other things that are going on without allowing it to take away from the other things that are more important or that do really have to be done. And so I always want to share how I'm doing that and let people know that it's not easy and that it doesn't always look the same, and that in different seasons it'll be more, it'll be less, it'll be different, and that's all okay and that's all important. And so yeah, that's why I like to share those kinds of things in here. And sometimes I wonder, I mean, this is just like what times of the day I'm writing and how much, and it seems, I wonder sometimes if it interests anyone else, but I do feel like I get so much feedback from people who have been encouraged because they want to feel that they can still engage in creativity and in creation and in art, where they are in their very busy and important and God-given seasons in life. So that's why I'm sharing that, and that's working for me now, and I'm sure it's going to change. And I am not a very flexible person, so my tendency would be to make my plan of, getting it all done before 6 a.m. and hold on tightly to that and force it to happen. And, and I've had to, the only way I can make this work is to learn to sense when those things are not working, to let go of them, and to try something different. That's what I tell my girls all the time when they're playing and something's just not working and they're fussing and whining and getting all frustrated because it's not working. I always tell them, if something's not working, try something different. And yet that can be so hard for me to implement. So that's what I'm also trying to do. And it's been really helpful for me. So number 4, I think I may have already talked about this, but I found a local bookstore that is a lot better for taking and selling books than, like I used to take like a giant bag of books in great condition to half price books, and they'd be like, here is 25 cents. Like, it was awful. And so a friend encouraged me to try this local bookstore instead. They don't actually give you money for books, but they'll give you a good amount of store credit, and you can use it for up to half of the cost of books that you're buying. So it's a great way to save money on books that are already good prices, because they're used. And so I've been going down there like maybe a couple times a month with some books and movies and stuff that we're getting rid of, especially now that I'm going through these boxes of books I brought back from my parents' storage. I've had a lot of things that I realize I just don't need. So anyway, I've been going down there, and it's also close to my favorite frozen yogurt place, so I'll usually run over and get a little treat. And I had to go back, excuse me, I had to go back by today because they were holding a couple of books for me, and they'll only hold them for a couple weeks. So all that said, I decided to take my oldest daughter out on a little date. We got Chick-fil-A, we went to the bookstore, we got ice cream or frozen yogurt. And I told her, so, we're going to this bookstore and we can try to pick out, a book for you. And so it was so much fun because she was so excited. We went to the kids' book section, and she was immediately like looking at all the shelves, finding so many cool things, pulling out books and reading them and looking at them. And I was kind of looking at the bigger kid books to try to find something she might enjoy that I could get for her on those shelves. And it just felt like, we were, it felt her method, if you will, felt very similar to mine, just really like kind of getting lost in the shelves, and then occasionally like finding something, getting excited, pulling it out, looking at it for a little bit, just like, I don't know, like just to have us both doing that side by side was so much fun. And at one point she found a little seek and find book, and she sat down at a table, and there was a little boy that came over that was probably a little younger than her, sat down next to her and started being like, what are you looking for? What is that? And she'd be like, I'm looking for this. And they were both looking at the seek and find book together. It was so cute. So we did end up getting a few books. And it was just so much fun. I've talked about many times. And again, I feel like this is part of my message, is getting to see my kids love books and teaching them to value books. Again, I know not all of them are going to be as big a reader as I am, but just teaching them the value of reading and the value of books and stories and learning, and getting to see her really embrace that is such a delight. And we had a great time together. So number 5, I'm currently in the middle of a few different books. But the one that I most recently finished that I really wanted to talk about was I finished Rebecca by, I don't know how to pronounce the author's name. It's a famous book, but I believe it's Daphne du Maurier. Hopefully I said that right. But yeah, I know that one's a classic. I've heard of it. Never seen any of the movie adaptations, but one of my friends had an extra copy she was getting rid of, so I went ahead and claimed it, and then I read it over just a few days. Like, I could not put it down. Was really drawn into it. Can definitely see why it's a classic. But I was really fascinated by the way that it gives such an impression of, like, there's so much intensity and tension, and yet very little can be actually happening for a lot of the book. Like, in a lot of the book, she's just at this house and she's having these thoughts, and maybe she's like sitting at a desk and she looks out the window, and then she takes a walk and then she talks to the servants. Like, there's not a lot of things that, if you describe just in that basic way, that sound very exciting or interesting, but it is definitely exciting and interesting because of just the psychological components and what she's thinking and what are other people thinking, and how are other people manipulating her, or how does she think they're manipulating her, and just, what actually happened that we don't know about, and how can we find out. Just all of those things draw you in very intensely. So I was fascinated by that. And I also found the emotions and the thoughts and the way that the main character processed things and had her emotions shift. It just felt very real to me because, especially, as a woman, you can have these sort of like racing thoughts and mood swings, and you feel one way and then something happens and it all, your mood just comes crashing down. And just that was how the main character felt to me. It felt very authentic, and that was enjoyable to read. And so, yeah, I just thought it was really well done. Definitely interested in reading more from that author and in watching some of the movie adaptations. I know there's one by Hitchcock, and I haven't watched much of his stuff, so I should see if the library has that one, because that should be interesting. But yeah, definitely. And it's always nice just to get a book that has that sort of can't put it down feeling, because that doesn't always, that definitely doesn't happen with every book, but for this one it did. So number 6, one thing I did over the weekend was go to a new chiropractor. The chiropractors I've been going to for a few years now are absolutely wonderful. Like, I love them. They've taken such good care of me. I love their philosophy. Like, I really do love them so much and would recommend them to anyone, but they are just far from me. And as we've moved farther away. Plus, they're like right in downtown. And so certain times of the day, at the best of times, it's in theory a 30-minute drive, but it's almost never actually 30 minutes. I can pretty much always count on the fact that it's going to be a 45-minute to an hour drive, and that's just a long way to go. Plus, they don't have any weekend appointments, and so it can be hard. I'd have to either take my kids or find someone to watch them every time, and it just was hard for me to get down there. So one of my friends found a chiropractor that's a lot closer that she's really liked, and that has just been absolutely amazing for her. And so I finally decided I'm going to, try this guy instead, because he's just 10 minutes away and takes appointments on Saturdays. So I went over there on Saturday, and definitely agree with my friend that he's great. He gave me, so much attention to all the things I felt like I was needing. Different pains I was having, whatever, really worked with me thoroughly. So I'll definitely be going back. But the other really cool thing, as I talked to him, I already knew that he was a Christian, and that my friend that goes to him has had lots of awesome conversations on various topics with him. But I had written on my sort of intake form that I was an independent author, because I figured leaning over a computer so much is relevant information for a chiropractor. So, as often happens, he was asking what I write. So I shared that I write a lot of things, but mainly Christian young adult science fiction. And he got really excited, because he said, that if he's not reading, the Bible or theology books, he is reading science fiction and loves science fiction. And so he was really curious, though, because he said, when I think science fiction, I think there's, like aliens and a lot of like humanism, and just like, what does Christian science fiction even look like? Like, and he was saying, he doesn't see, room in the biblical narrative for anything like aliens, which I agree, I don't either. There's no aliens in the Firmament series. So he was like, if you don't have that, then what is Christian science fiction? What does it look like? And so that was such a great conversation to have, because I feel very strongly about that. And just to say, God created this enormous and amazing and beautiful universe that has so many things we don't even know anything about, and has given us the ability to explore and understand the things we can already see. And so imagine, if we could in the future take more, to space and go further than we have, and all the things that we could find and discover, and the glory that could bring to God through just discovering all the things in his creation, and discovering new materials and creating new technology. And then of course you get into with new technology, there are moral dilemmas, and like if this happens that couldn't happen in our world, then it makes you think about things that do happen in our world. It makes you think about, you take something sort of to its logical conclusion, and it forces you to look at it in a different way. And I think that's really valuable as a Christian. And so just getting to have, I got all worked up, of course, and I'm very passionate about this. And it was such a fun opportunity to share that, and to share why I think that science fiction is such a good genre for Christians to really take dominion of, and to lay claim to, and it's absolutely perfect for us. Like, that's why my series is called Firmament, because the firmament shows the handiwork of God and displays his glory. We know that from scripture, and that if you just go out and look up at the night sky. Like, I'm watching a course right now on astronomy, and it's just so incredible, all of the ways that light works, and that, different phenomena in space, and just the vastness of things that are out there, and the beauty of it. And it's just so incredible and awe-inspiring. And so that, to me, brings such glory to God, to discover that, and to learn about it, and to think about it, and to learn and discover and create new things. And so that's what gets me excited about science fiction as a Christian. That's why I think it's so important and so valuable, and definitely does not belong to the humanists. Like, by right, it should belong to us, because we know the God that created all of it, and that rules over all of it, and that has given it such order and beauty and art. And so, yeah, I was, as you can tell, passionate about this subject, and it was so much fun to be able to discuss it with someone. So I'll definitely be going back, not because of the great discussion primarily, because of the great chiropractic care, but I think some of the discussion can be a really nice perk as well. So thank you all so much for listening. I'm really hoping that the audio quality on this one is better. I'm continuing to get my old episodes up on YouTube, and then once I'm caught up, we'll start putting new episodes up on there as well, and have some exciting other projects planned for YouTube, including audiobooks and some other things that I'll announce before too much longer. So please, if you are open to it, I would love to get more subscribers on my YouTube channel, J. Grace Pennington, because I do need to get 1,000 subscribers on there. So I am on a mission to get more content and to get more people looking at it, so that I can start getting audiobooks up there for free and some more exciting stuff like that. So if you do that, I thank you. But regardless, I thank you for listening. I would really love to hear if you have any thoughts about the synopsis for the next book, or if you've read Progenitor. Please absolutely let me know what you think. I love getting to discuss my books with people that have read them and people that are interested. Let me know if there's a way that you've found to creatively work creativity into your schedule and your routine. I would love to hear about it, and maybe get some new ideas from you as well. And then if you've read Rebecca, definitely really want to discuss that one, and any thoughts that you have about Christian science fiction and what it is and how it looks different from the science fiction of the world. I just love having discussions, clearly, obviously love having conversations about all of these topics, and just chatting with other story lovers. So thank you again all so much for listening. I hope that everyone has a great day and a great weekend ahead, and stay improbable. Bye.